um, yeah, this Aquarian energy, this air energy that we're said to be entering into, or we have entered into, is it relates to uh, all collaborations and community, grassroots, how we come together, how we share, and this COVID time too, it really has sort of forced us to go inwardly, to really to look at those things and how are we doing things, what are to become more aware and like you said, when you're chopping that onion, are you really with it? Are you present with it, or is it just an automation? Are you just on auto, just chopping just
Yeah.
to eat that food? But to bring some awareness and presence to bringing yourself into it and aware of yourself. It's really more and more as I've been the past week I've been writing the course for my website, and been really focused and deep into it, and it's just reminder it is going back into the basic stuff, and it was just so good doing that, and remembering how important it is to love oneself. It is, we hear that all the time. We've been hearing that for since we came into this world, and about love, love yourself, but no one really shows us how to do that. No one really quite understands, per se, how to love yourself. And um and I'm so excited about this new work to share with the world in terms of exactly how to do that. It's like a understanding the mechanics of how we're wired up, and taking the time to honor yourself in everything you do. It's like when what they say to us when we're traveling on a plane: first take care of yourself, make sure that you can get that air mask if something in an emergency situation, in order for you to, before you can help some other, you have to help yourself first. And it's kind of really the metaphor, like really loving ourselves is all about that, to take care of it. And without that, it's really impossible to truly love the other. And it sounds very, cliche-ish, but it's so true. And having a mechanism, having some sort of a practice, or something to really to focus one in doing that. I think it's important because it's um, most of the people just, you ask them about loving themselves, and they just don't know how to. They just, it seems like it's something far-fetched, you know? What do you guys think about that?
Elaine, I'm going to look to you.
Well, the first thing I'm thinking about is our parents love us, right? But loving us and teaching us to love ourselves isn't the same thing. So you can still have love all around you and not really understand what it means to turn that toward yourself. Um, so I appreciate what you're saying, Richard. And I guess the question I have for you, Chris, is um, do you see kind of like this idea of starting with yourself or loving yourself first and then building out business from there? Like, are you working with your clients in a similar way with what Richard's kind of talking about?
It's funny. I think that there's levels of it, right? As we talk about the ideal of love and just the essence of love, and then of course, the self, loving the self, right? And then from there, in my context, business is all about people, right? People coming together to create a company and provide value. And it's funny, as I run this through the filters of companies that I've worked with, there's levels of it. On one level, there's neglect of it. There's ignorance, and it's all basically transaction and business. And love really isn't a component of it. It is, of course, underlying. It's kind of ubiquitous, but oftentimes leaders choose not to look at that because they look at other motives, to keep, to focus on, like, just making money at all costs, right? And so therefore that aspect is that love is neglected, and it actually creates a culture of, almost like a caustic culture, where stress runs rampant, people don't care about one another, and eventually it creates a bad scenario and eventually a bad business. That's one level. Then there's other layers and levels. Ultimately, it comes down to a place of where I like to engage business leaders. It's kind of that self-awareness first, understanding who we are, why we are, as we're souls on this planet, manifesting a purpose, determining what that is. Yeah, I know Richard's got the model of the human design component. So bringing that into it and realizing, hey, this is my essence, this is my strength, my power, and then apply that to business with a kind of a loving kindness, compassionate perspective, as opposed to the other extreme, which is all just the absence of that, right? So I like to work with people in that context of, hey, why am I here? Why am I doing this business? And what kind of people am I surrounding myself with? Are they people that are, maybe desperate, or, maybe they're disconnected? And the key then is to create connected, conscious people. So therefore it results in a connected, conscious business based on the essence of love. How's that? Was that a good answer?
I think so. I'm always fascinated